I got the dreaded lurgy. It's a bit like playing football through a hamstring injury, I think. They're trying to do a video with a sore throat and been a bit spaced out, dosed up, and all the rest of it. Slept for about 14 hours. Anyway, here we are. We've got to do a video today. 3 or 4 things to discuss. Firstly, we've got a competition winner. Secondly, I need to talk about Karren Brady and a ridiculous column. Some comments, exchanges between her and Andy Carroll, in case you've missed that. I want to talk about Arsenal Fan TV as well, in case you've missed out on that. Not really West Ham, but it sort of ties into what we do, because we're a YouTube channel ourselves, following a football team. Before I do that, Martin Peters has sadly passed away. And he was a great player. He was, the word legend is overused. We were doing our team of the decade. Not done mine yet. I'm in the process of doing it. I was reading through a lot of comments on it. Someone put Joey O'Brien in, and someone had said Joey O'Brien, West Ham legend. Now, I don't wish to dig Joey O'Brien out, but it sort of goes on to highlight that the word legend is overused. Martin Peters was one of the best players you could ever wish to see. I think he had over 700 professional appearances, nearly 200 professional goals. Could play all over midfield. Was a wonderful player for West Ham, over 300 games for West Ham. Immortalised in that statue just opposite the bowling pub. Won the European Cup Winners' Cup with West Ham. On what was a thrilling journey to that final. And of course was to go on, then the reason that statue was commissioned, that I just alluded to, is because England won the World Cup. And West Ham fans often go on about we won the World Cup, and the reason we say we won the World Cup, if you're too young to know, is the captain, Bobby Moore, was West Ham. The guy that scored the hat-trick in the final was West Ham. Jeff Hurst. First one was Bobby Moore, obviously. And, of course, Martin Peters was also West Ham. The significance of Martin Peters, where England scored 4 goals. 3 by Jeff Hurst, 1 by Martin Peters, who was West Ham. So West Ham captained the World Cup team, and we scored all the goals in that World Cup victory. I was lucky enough to meet Martin Peters. We were doing a video. Our first video, actually. Our first ever video at Upton Park, Hammers Chats. And we were getting the cameras and the sound equipment ready at the dugout, and he walked past. I introduced myself and I shook his hand, and that was to be I was to go on and meet him a further 2 occasions. It was a real honour to meet him because he was a legend, remains a legend. Sadly passed away, he was in ill health towards the end. If any of his, I don't even know if any of his family would watch this type of thing. If they do, you certainly have mine and all the subscribers and viewers' commiserations. But he will be remembered fondly, and he will be remembered well. And surely that's how you want to go, to have a legacy. And I'll tell you what, that man had a legacy better than most ever will. So, rest in peace, Martin Peters. The other thing that Martin had in abundance, leading on, was a shed load of class. An absolute classy individual. I mentioned I meet him, he was nothing but polite, friendly. Never heard about anybody say a bad word about him. So you might say he was an ambassador for the club. He certainly was. He was an official ambassador. But he was also an ambassador in the way that he carried himself. There's somebody else who's supposed to be an ambassador and don't carry himself too well. And that's Karren Brady. I don't think she cares how she comes across. We've had meetings with Karren Brady before. A long, long time ago now. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when we were all invited in for the bloggers meetings with her. She's clever. She's smart. Speaks very well. Certainly smart enough to know not to do this sort of thing, what I'm about to tell you about in a second. I think she's probably... There was a reason she was charged with getting the stadium a conversion over the line. Not the conversion, a move to the stadium. Because she had to meet a lot of people. And I think David Gold is good at meeting people. David Gold can be a very friendly person when you meet him, certainly. But Brady knows people. Brady's good with people. Brady's good at telling people what they want to hear. So when she's put in front of common select committees and things like that, she's there. She can do the job. She's actually quite funny as well. Not many people would appreciate that. So with somebody with a sense of humour, with somebody who's quite bright, with somebody who's good with people, I would expect them to know not to do such a classless thing that she's done now. When we've been in these meetings, she's flatly refused to give the column up. I don't think she needs the money. She's must have multiple millions in the bank, a very comfortable lifestyle, and newspapers are on a decline. They just are. Less and less people are reading them. I used to get a newspaper. I used to get 2 newspapers on a daily basis. I just don't now. If I'm in a doctor's surgery, as I was yesterday, I said, no, I'll read it. Otherwise, I won't bother. But anyway, so my point is, I don't think newspapers are creating such a huge revenue that it makes a massive difference to her wealth. So why does she do it? Well, maybe she just likes the notoriety. Maybe she just likes the attention. Anyway, Andy Carroll has done an interview with a newspaper. He did an interview with the Mail Online. Now, in this, he has responded to an interview that Karren Brady did in November, the 9th of November. In it, she called him a dinosaur. Lots of very, very insulting interview. You go and find it. Karren Brady, Andy Carroll. Just Google it. November article. Google it. You read the whole article yourself. I'm certainly not going to try and save my voice for the remainder of the video. I'm not going to read through it all now. But Andy Carroll has hit back. Now, he has done an interview in the Daily Mail. The Mail Online is the online version, obviously. It's not all... I've read the whole article. It's not all about Karren Brady. A lot of it's about him moving back to Newcastle and so on and so forth, about him being robbed. And anyway, it's an article. But there's a bit where the interviewer mentions, and I will read this now, mentions Karren Brady. So I'm going to read now. It says, Carroll's eyes roll at the mention of her name. Karren Brady, West Ham Vice Chairman. In November, days after Carroll played in Newcastle's 3-2 win at London Stadium, Brady attacked him in her newspaper column, questioning his commitment and joking that he regularly attended his grandmother's funerals to miss matches. The insinuation is quite clear there. It is really, really clear. The insinuation is that he missed a lot of games, and the excuse was, my grandmother's died, I need to go to a funeral. Again, the insinuation is, how many of these can you go to? You've only got 2 grandmothers. How come your grandmother's died 5 times? That's the barb. That's the jibe of that. It's completely classless. Even if it's true, it's completely classless. Because, number one, you should shut up anyway and not say this sort of thing. Number 2, even if it is true, it is still highly likely that at some point his grandmother has passed away. And if his grandmother has passed away, there can be other people in the Carroll family who are upset about that and certainly don't need that being brought up by the West Ham Vice Chairman. It's classless and it's absolutely crass. Carroll responded and said, ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Some of the things I could say about her, it's madness. I've spoken to her about 5 times. But that's Karren. I'm not bothered what she says. We beat them and she says that. She's never said that in 7 years I was there. She's just bitter. Let her get on with it. I would love, when he said some of the things I could say about her, I'd love to know. But we don't know. Because he has done the exact opposite of what Karren Brady's done there, isn't he? He knows some stuff and he's keeping it to himself, is what's happened there. Karren Brady's just let it go. Now he keeps using his grandmother's death as an excuse to miss matches. Not nice. Just not a pleasant way to behave. And as an ambassador to the club, that does tarnish our reputation, which is quite bad anyway at the moment. We're not a popular club. We used to be. Cannon Town Len, as he said, were everybody's second team. Not anymore. The Tevez saga eroded that. And then actually moving to the Olympic stadiums eroded that, because obviously we've moved into a stadium for free on the back of taxpayers' money. So we're not a popular, we're not people's second team anymore. People do not like Karren Brady. They'll see her. She's got the pantomime villain's role as well, hasn't she? On The Apprentice, of course. She's got to be there with a stern face. It's her job on that to criticise people. Maybe she's got so heavily invested in the role, she don't know where the pretend stops and the reality starts. But this is crass. It's not nice, and I don't like to see it. And I bet there's not a single one of you who's going to even disagree with me in the comments there, are you? Let's be perfectly honest with you. Right, okay, so Karren Brady, that's done. I'm going to announce the winner of our competition. The competition, if you remember, It's a signed shirt, signed by loads and loads of players. More than I can reel off, but Declan Rice, Yarmolenko, Mark Noble, lots of players. And also, as part of the prize, it's a day out for two in corporate hospitality. It's two tickets in the posh seats, basically for a game in the latter half of the season. So thank you to everybody who entered that. Let's bring it up here. The winner is Richard Graves from Canvey. Well done, Richard. Congratulations, my friend. He says, I've been listening to Emma's chat from day one, still listen to it. Gio and Gonzo are both funny. Well, both very funny. Give bits of information and videos and the like. Keep up the good work, guys. I'd love the shirt with all those signatures. I'd frame it and give it pride of place in my West Ham room. He's got a West Ham room. If anything deserved a West Ham shirt, surely it's a West Ham room. There were loads of good entries, but we scrolled up, scrolled down, went, bang, put our finger on one, and it was Richard that got it there. So congratulations, Richard. And what you're going to need to do, mate, is the gentleman that has generously donated these prizes. Now, I didn't donate them. Is a chap that's trying to increase our presence on Facebook. We're not very good on Facebook, and we're trying. So anyway, so he is admin of that Facebook, of the Hammers Chat Forum Facebook page. And if you speak to him on there, he'll get in touch with you via DM, or you get in touch with him via DM. We'll make all the arrangements. We'll get that sent out to you. It was meant to be done a couple of days ago, and I've got to take the full blame for that. I feel terrible. Been really ill. So apologies for that, but we will get it sent out ASAP to you and get all that done. Congratulations, Richard. Thank you to everybody else who has entered. I'm sure we'll be doing more competitions in Hammers Chat, as we always do every year, more and more. So keep your eyes on all the platforms that we are involved in. Right, quick swig of me tea. Arsenal Fan TV. Right, okay. I'm assuming here that anybody watching this uses YouTube. You have to, otherwise you're not really watching these things anyway. If you watch YouTube, you're going to know who Arsenal Fan TV are. What's this got to do with West Ham, I hear you ask? Nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. Apart from, I was sent, it clearly resonates with people, because I was getting lots and lots of messages about it yesterday. People pinging me over links. And what happened was, Robbie, I think his name's Robbie Lyle. He is the owner, founder of Arsenal Fan TV. They have to call themselves AFTV now, because the club made them change their name. He was surrounded by a lot of fans at the away game at Everton. And they were all singing, Arsenal Fan TV, get out of our club. To be fair, it looked... I think if I was surrounded by people like that, I would have felt quite intimidated, I must say. It was surrounded them. But I believe no punches were thrown or anything like that. It just almost seemed like the away support, the loyal away support, your hardcore fan, had had enough of Arsenal Fan TV. The reason it's pertinent to us, pertinent to me, is obviously we run a YouTube channel, and I think, oh, you know, that's wouldn't like that to happen to me. That being said, I think Arsenal Fan TV is a very, very strange case, because what we do over here, we have very much built our platform off the back of reviews, previews, podcasts, and just talking about West Ham. That's really what we do. We talk about West Ham if the going is good. If Payet's banging in loads of goals and things are going well, we talk about West Ham if things are going bad. Arsenal Fan TV has largely been built off the back of sorrow, really, and things going very, very wrong. And as a result of that, they have managed to pick up on a number of fans who they highlight on a regular basis, who probably don't resonate much with the regular fan. I said about the away fans. I mean, if you're an away fan, if you're a painter and decorator, you're an away fan, you go and watch Arsenal home and away, you probably don't like their regular characters that are on there very much. Now, I'm quite sure that Arsenal Fan TV film lots of different fans. But the ones they give exposure to And I'm sure they upload lots. I'm sure they do. I don't really watch it that much. But it's a bit like anything else. The ones that shout loudest are the ones you get to hear. So what you get to hear is DT and Troops, by and large. As I say, I'm sure that the painter and decorator from Finsbury Park, who goes home and away, is able to go up and do an interview with them. But he's not invited onto the podcast. He's not really promoted. He's not the one getting the views. Because Arsenal Fan TV attract a load of people who don't support Arsenal. And they're tuning in to watch the Freak Show. They're tuning in to watch the Meltdown. They're tuning in to watch Arsenal Fan TV capitulate, implode and go absolutely bonkers after they've lost 4-0. The channel was largely built on Wenger out. When Wenger did eventually leave and they brought Unai Emery in, people were wondering, well, what Arsenal Fan TV going to do now if things start to go well? Well, they didn't go well, so they just continue to grow and continue to grow. And Robbie has launched a staunch defence of himself. And I don't really blame him for doing a video yesterday, by the way, because I'm sure he would have been quite flustered by what happened, but particularly being surrounded by a group of them. But he went on to launch quite a vociferous monologue about getting certain fans out of the club. I think the very fans he was talking about were the hardcore home and away fans. Probably the few Arsenal fans that make noise inside the stadium, because Arsenal fans make a lot of noise outside that stadium and not too much inside of it. And he went on to talk about threats and thuggishness. And the thing is, it was completely hypocritical. Because when I've tuned in, the few times I've tuned into that Arsenal Fan TV, I've got a guy called DT who's on there. And recently, Robbie was on TalkSport. And TalkSport were quite heavily critical of him. And Robbie was doing a lot of name calling to Simon Jordan. Was calling him pompous dinosaur and a has-been and stuff like that. So Robbie's not afraid to throw a few insults himself. But during that, he mentioned, basically, Simon Jordan said that it was car crash TV. People were rubbernecking. For those of you who don't know the phrase, it's rubbernecking. It's if you see a car crash on the M3 or wherever you may be, you turn and you look. That's what people are doing with Arsenal Fan TV. Not particularly hardcore Arsenal fans watching it. Certainly not a million of them. They will have some hardcore Arsenal fans. But a lot of them are watching it from a sort of voyeuristic nature. And Simon Jordan alluded to DT on it. And he said, you know, what does DT do? And Robbie said, oh, DT, I don't know what he does. I think he's a DJ or something like that. I think he used to be a DJ. I think that's what he said. Now, I just found it very, very odd because the guy that he picked out is actually one of the most threatening people on there, particularly as he is attacking the regular home and away fans. I've seen that DT offer to fight people on at least 3 occasions. They were running some sort of mini-series where they were coaching a team. He was on the sidelines, DT. He offered the referee out. He has squared up to people on numerous times and actually seems like quite a nasty, violent bloke. So it's very, very difficult for Robbie to go and say, when he started insulting and throwing all kinds of names at Simon Jordan, when the main guy on his channel threatens a lot of people and wants to bully boy and pick fights, for him to complain when he gets that sort of stuff back to him. And I just look at it and I think, I don't think the normal fan looks at Arsenal Fan TV and particularly resonates with someone like DT or resonates with someone like Troops. I don't think the normal working class fan sees anything of himself reflected in those people. And I look at it and I think that Arsenal Fan TV could do himself. Granted, they wouldn't generate as many views, thus they wouldn't earn as much money. Which is clearly what is going on there. He's a rich man now, Robbie. But I think they would do themselves a lot of favours if the people that they picked out for their specialist roles within it. So what they do is the people that seem to perform well on fan cams, they'll then propel and they will put in to do the other stuff. If they're doing a programme, if they're doing a podcast, if they're doing other things, they'll pick Troops, they'll pick DT, as I say, rather than the painter and decorator from Finsbury Park. And I think one of the biggest problems they got is they're not picking people who are totally reflective of the Arsenal fan base. They're picking very much a new generation of fan. And what they're doing is they're actually picking two people who aren't very likeable. And that's going to be a huge thing when you're choosing someone to appear in a video. You've got to resonate with them. You've got to attach yourself with them. And you've got to like them. And they're not likeable. Actually, you watch that and you don't like them. There'll be some people who do. There'll be people who have the comments on here. And say, no, I quite like them. I've heard the comment, DT's Marmite. It's a funny one, that. You can take him or leave him. Some like him, some love him. It's not totally reflective, I find, actually. Because I find Marmite is a 50-50 thing. Half like it, half don't. That it gives the reflection that, actually, half people love DT and half hate him. I don't think that's a true ratio at all. I think you might find 10-20% like him, but 80%, I'd imagine, probably don't. And that's going to be a massive issue if you're trying to run a YouTube channel. Not if you want the money, but you're not going to be able to take that money, have the freak show, have the circus, and be popular. That's just not going to work on it. Anyway, there you go. Those are just my thoughts on it, really. I think it's a funny one, really. So anyway, but oh, sorry, no, there was another thing. 2 or 3 people said to me, I wonder if this will happen to West Ham Fan TV. No, it won't. For all the reasons that I said. Because West Ham Fan TV, I do think, have genuine working class people on there. I don't watch it and feel that they're trying to highlight the biggest wrong on any more than anybody else. I don't feel that there is a DT. I don't feel that there is a Troops. I do feel that the painter and decorator from Canvey Island will feature on West Ham Fan TV. So I don't think it's the same. I also don't think they have built their platform off of the back of misery. I don't feel they've built their platform off of the back of a circus show. I do feel they give their fans a voice, and that's what they do. But to hear Robbie speak, you would think that it's some benevolent charity. Oh, I'm only here to give the fans a voice. I don't think that's particularly true. Not in that case, anyway. Anyway, those are just my opinions. Videos coming out in the next few days. I'm going to have to see what I can do. Christmas is coming up. I'm clearly not going to be able to do a video every day, so please do bear with me. We will be getting as much as we can up on the other channel. I will see you before, but just in case, whatever this is the last video you do watch, I do wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'd like to thank you all for watching all of our stuff on a regular basis, as you do. We thoroughly enjoy it. We read all of your comments. We thoroughly enjoy interacting with you all. Obviously, you know, as I said earlier on, we'll be doing loads and loads of videos as they come and go over the Christmas period. We're going to struggle with a schedule, basically, so I don't want to particularly commit to one now. If you go into the games, particularly if you go into the Crystal Palace game, good luck with the travel. Please do remember that there is a very, very limited train service, and as you're leaving Selhurst Park, there aren't actually any trains for the first 2 hours. There is a limited bus service, so you might want to get in there and make your arrangements nice and early while you can. I will catch up with you very, very soon.